Hi there, my name's Paul Farnsworth, aka Tech Bloke Paul. I'm the president of Dice. We're not a gambling website. We actually provide an opportunity to find the best tech jobs in the US. I'm here to talk about careers, technology. As an aspirational tinkerer and a career technologist, I've got one or two things to say. At Dice, we know that sometimes job seeking can feel like you're gambling with your future. But we're here to improve your odds in the job market and help you find that perfect spot. That's what this show's about. As a career technologist, I've worked in large companies and small companies, at every rung in the corporate ladder, from startups to major corporations, from fixing printers to boardrooms. I'm here to help guide us through our career search and journey. And look, I've been in technology long enough to know if you don't bring a bit of humor and lightness to the situation, you're never going to make it. On this show, we're going to explore themes of technology and careers. So let's cut to me and see what we're talking about in this show. Hello there, Tech Bloke Paul here, aka Paul Farnsworth. I guess it's the other way around. It's Paul Farnsworth, aka Tech Bloke Paul.
Yes.
The show today, we're going to talk about AI and how to use AI in careers and AI, since it's a hot topic, and all the things around AI. And because I don't really know what I'm talking about, I have an expert here with me, Pam Portman, who is a VP of product here at Dice. Why are you an expert in AI, Pam?
I built my first AI prototype with the software engineering team back in 2011, but I would say our specific topic today is to talk about digital twins. And that is an area that is relatively new in terms of semantic digital twins.
The AI that you built in 2011, is it sentient now and has left home, or is it still, have you got control of it still?
No. It was much harder
Okay.
to do things back then than in these past couple of years.
Okay. So here's the plan for today. This is what we're going to try and do. We're going to explain why a digital twin might be interesting for your career search. We're actually going to try and build a digital twin live based on me. I mean, why wouldn't you? And then we're going to see if it's any good or not. And then at that point, maybe I'll retire if my digital twin can just take over everything. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Should we have a go?
Yes, that's great.
All right. So let's talk about why and what a digital twin is. Let's start maybe with a little bit more of a detailed explanation of what is a digital twin.
So a digital twin is a virtual representation of you. Another term is a virtual sim. And what it can do is it can simulate your behavior and preferences, your communication style. It really can be a great thought partner as a way to really help support you in your career journey and in other aspects of your work life.
Okay, and then, I mean, I can see lots of uses for a digital twin, but how would I use it in a job search?
It can help you determine whether or not a particular job is a good fit for your skill set and even your personality type. It can help you do some career planning. It can help you identify different interview techniques and prepare stories for your interviews as well. So there's a lot of great ways that it can support you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to build a digital twin, what do I need? What are the ingredients?
It's pretty simple. You need to identify the chatbot that you want to use, whether that's OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, or others. You also are going to need to pull some content together. You'll need some information about your profile. So for our purposes today, we'll use a LinkedIn profile, some information about your personality, some information about transcripts from communications or posts that you've had, so it starts to learn about your style and experience overall.
Okay. So, I mean, pretty much what you'd expect, right? A technology platform of some description, and then data to feed the model, and then you can interact with the model afterwards. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, one concern I have is if I put my consciousness into the computer, who owns my consciousness now?
That is an excellent question. And because this is such a new topic, we don't have a clear answer for that. But if you are going to start exploring with a digital twin, you need to decide what you're comfortable sharing, keep it within the realm of your personal account. If you want to be the most proactive, now I'm not a legal expert.
Yeah.
Right? However, there are ways that you could use open source LLMs and build your own chatbot that would allow you to host it yourself. So trade-offs for all
Okay.
of these different options.
Trade-offs. There's
Trade-offs.
always some trade-offs for these sorts of things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I think we've got the basic structure of what a digital twin is going to be. Anything else that I need to prepare or know about before we start building?
I think the main final thing to think about is that with the work that you're doing here, also think about the recruiter perspective or the hiring manager perspective. You know, this really is about creating a first draft when you're working on things like tailoring resumes or cover letters. It's not about the final product, and you always want to make sure that you're being authentic and truthful with what you're putting forward.
Yep. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good basic description of what a digital twin using AI is and how we might use it. The thing that you all want to look at now is, how do I actually build one? So with the help of some tools, we're going to try and build one live.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, just describe what we're looking at here before we start getting into this.
For sure. So for the purposes of today's demo, we chose ChatGPT since that has the largest adoption currently and will be kind of a good starting ground for our audience.
And am I paying for this? Is this the free version?
No,
What am I
this is a
looking at?
paid. This is a paid version, currently at about $20 a month. And what that does is it opens up your ability to have some other features like a project. But before we go into that, the very first thing you're going to notice here is the chat interface. Over on the left-hand side, you can see access to Sora. I don't know if you've played with Sora at all.
I basically make all my home movies now through Sora.
Okay,
I
excellent.
don't go anywhere anymore. I just tell it to imagine what it would be like and it produces it. So,
Yes,
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And then you have your library, which will be any images that you've generated through your conversations will show up there. Explore GPTs, which will show you custom GPTs that have been shared and you can create your own. This is one option for where you could set up your digital twin, but for our purposes today, we're going to use a new project.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, well, I tested both and I found that the responses tend to be better in the new project. And because it has access to memory, because of the way that it retrieves and processes the information you put in your library. So we'll go with that today.
Okay.
So for the project, we're going to name this Paul's.
Tech Bloke Paul.
That's true. All right. And for those of you that are new to projects, essentially what you do is you start with adding instructions, and the instructions are going to explain what the purpose is of this particular AI assistant. And so we already have a handful.
We pre-prepared this, didn't we?
We
So
did.
while you cut and paste that, I'm going to read a little bit of what we've written in here because it's going to be hard to see on the screen. So you are to act as Paul Farnsworth. It doesn't necessarily know what that means, but we're going to train it with a little bit more information. And who works in the tech industry as Paul, you should embody my distinct communication patterns, thinking style, and personality traits. Good luck to the AI for that. Your primary purpose is an understanding of my personality and work experience to provide guidance in my job search. So you're starting to set up kind of the tone and general kind of how it should behave here. Then you're telling it specifically where to pull knowledge from. Why is this important? And does this help stop hallucinations?
Both the instruction here and then the instruction following is putting some guardrails around where it should get its information and also what it should do when it doesn't have enough information.
Yep.
So yes, that is the goal of this particular.
Yeah, and in particular, if you go down just a little bit, you ask it to ask clarifying questions rather than make assumptions, because you know what assumptions are, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, they make an ass out of you and me. That's a good one. The old ones are the best.
First time I've heard that.
What? No, that's what yeah, anyway. Fine. Okay.
All right. So we'll save that. Then the other thing that we need to do, we just told it to consult the knowledge that we provide to it. And so now we're going to add the knowledge.
Okay, now, is this the part where you put a cable on my brain and there's sort of loose, blobby things that go between us?
Thankfully, no. This
Okay.
is where we're going
All
to
right.
pull in your LinkedIn profile, your personality assessment, and transcripts from your celebrity appearances in the
Excellent.
past.
Okay. So this is now ingesting all of that information. Does it have to sit there and consume energy while it thinks about this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can feel actually the temperature's risen a couple of degrees outside
Oh,
as the gas turbines are spinning. Okay. So we've loaded up all our project files.
all right. Now what we can do is we can play around with this to tune it and see how.
Is that it?
That's it. I mean, we've done.
This seems remarkably easy.
It is.
It sounded like when you said we're going to build a digital twin that would be complicated and take a long time, but we did that in like 3 seconds. So.
Now, it can take time to pull all of the content that you want to include in the knowledge base.
Okay.
That can honestly take anywhere from half an hour to a couple of hours, depending on how easy it is to access that information. If you need to take a personality test, that's going to take some time to feed into it. So we just did all of that work ahead of time.
All right, very good.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so we take it for a drive then.
Yes, let's
Okay.
do it. All right, let's see. Let's ask it, given my background, current role, let's ask it what type of next role
I'm very excited to see what I have to say about this.
to round out your experience. You've had so much experience in the tech
So much
industry.
experience. Let's see. CEO.
Ooh, there you go.
Interesting. For a mission-driven tech company. I like that. Venture partner or operating partner at a VC firm.
One of the things that I think is interesting, the reason it's calling out a mission-driven tech company is because of your personality profile. So this is where it's pulling in, not
I
just
see,
your
yeah,
experience.
from the personality test that we uploaded.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Okay. Chief Innovation Officer at a global enterprise. That sounds excellent. We should try and find me a job. I mean, not that I don't love my current job, but I'm saying that sounds even better.
Yes.
So, okay. Founder or co-founder of a purpose-driven startup or a non-profit tech leader and executive director. Now, I will have to say, maybe the AI hasn't quite understood my current lifestyle and whether or not a non-profit tech leader would really cut kind of. I'm not feeling that so much, but
Yeah,
you know.
so why don't we, I'm not interested in non-profit work.
Well, that makes me sound horrible now. I do want to help. Excellent. No, this is really good. So, I mean, if you ask me kind of what would be the next evolution of my career anyway, this is pretty much on the money, I'd say. I mean, the
That's
one
great.
thing it's maybe missing is, there's always an opportunity to take some of your background and scale it. So, you can take your role and go to a bigger company with bigger challenges.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, this is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll see whenever you end each of these, it's going to prompt you with different suggestions.
So let's go off. I know we're just testing this out.
Yeah.
One of the best, most awkward interview questions is, what would you describe as your weaknesses? Should we ask it what it thinks my weaknesses are?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how might I balance them or something? What do you think? Address them. Yeah. Okay.
An interview.
Perfect. All right. Let's have a look.
All right.
How long do you it's going to come up with a lot, isn't it?
I don't think so.
We didn't bring tissues so that I can dab my eye as it tells me cutting things. Over investing in yourself, difficulty delegating. Okay. I'm deeply committed to delivering high quality outcomes. Oh, so I take on too much myself. I love it. Okay, what's the
Yes.
next one? Sensitive to criticism. I'm finding that very, very rude, actually, and I don't like what it's telling me. Avoiding necessary conflict. Sometimes you have to drive in and deal with these things.
That's true.
Unrealistic expectations. Now, we've worked together for a long time. Would you say that I ever have unrealistic expectations?
Never.
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 Never. Okay. Neglecting rest, losing yourself in others.
That's getting a little deep.
It's getting a bit deep.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know what? Now I have a twin, it can do some of the work for me. So it's starting to answer that. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Now, so this is interesting. I'm liking what it's saying. Should we look for a job for me?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right. So here we've run a search in Dice. How do you feel about a senior Salesforce administrator?
Let's find out if the AI thinks I'm a match, shall we?
All right. We
Okay.
shall.
So we, just so you know what we did, and while Pam's doing this, we went onto Dice. We searched more broadly for a Salesforce administrator role. And then having taken the search results that came back, we've taken the URL at the top there, and we're going to post this in there. Now, this is assuming, of course, that AI has access to the live internet, because it's going to go and pull that information directly from the URL and then come back. It'll actually, I think you said it traverses the underlying result pages as well. So let's have a look. So, am I a fit? Not directly, but potentially for strategic leadership roles involving Salesforce. So I'm putting this together. Mm-hmm. It originally said I should be CEO, and now it's saying I need a leadership role at Salesforce. There's only one thing to conclude, isn't it?
Yes.
That sounds pretty good.
There you go.
Who's the current CEO of Salesforce? Because they need to watch out for me by the sound of it.
That's hilarious. Oh, it does. It's also providing the best matches, because in the prompt I asked for it to look for that sort of thing. Now, you can tailor this more. That particular search was for the United States. You could also say things like, I need to stay in Colorado. And it really narrows things down in a good way.
It does narrow things down.
Yeah.
Why am I staying in Colorado?
Well, you don't have to. I was just...
Oh,
I mean, it's up
see.
to you.
No, I mean, I just wondered if there was something you knew that I did. That's all. Okay. Very good. So, head of digital transformation and technology innovation. Excellent. Okay. Now, we have some other things that we can do.
Yes.
During the job search. What else can we do?
Yes. So other things that you can do, honestly, now that you have this set up, you can use it as an intro or mini kind of career coach.
Okay.
So, from that initial prompt where we were asking it for different career paths that you could go down, you could go really deep in exploring those and talking about what is really important and doing that to fine tune.
Okay.
And as you invest more in this, it will become more personalized to what is important to you.
Let me ask this, because this is something that we've talked about a little bit in the past. Part of job seeking is relationship building.
Yes.
To create the groundwork, and good etiquette around job seeking often involves sending a little note to say thanks for the interview or why I'm a good fit.
Yes.
How do I avoid leaning too heavily on this and sending what essentially starts to become fluffy AI answers to everything? Because I could see this could be quite addictive.
Yes, that's a great question. So it can definitely become addictive. I'll just tell you what I do. I run my, if I'm having content generated through this, I'm running the content by someone who knows me.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
To verify, does this sound like me? I also am using it for an outline.
Yep.
More than the final thing. And AI tends to be pretty verbose in this way. And so you can tell it to trim it down to the specific points.
Yep.
So again, it's really a starting point. It can make you a lot more efficient, but you really want to remain authentic in your communications.
Now, let's ask my AI assistant, since it's got my brain now, a couple of personal questions.
Okay.
Am I happy? Question mark.
Uh-oh.
Let's see what it says.
Wow, that's a powerful question.
I see. It's avoiding answering.
It is.
It didn't tell me yes or no. I just want a yes or no answer.
It is.
Okay.
No, this is what I mean about it being verbose, right? But it is telling you what makes you happy.
It does, and that's not bad, actually. Yeah. Okay, what would I like for my birthday as a gift? Let's find out. I'm curious to see what it thinks I might need. It's going to tell me I don't want physical things. I want people. It's going to tell me. Let's have a look.
Let's see.
A weekend retreat focused on leadership. Okay. A masterclass. Yeah, we might need to work on that a little bit. Yeah. I was thinking more about a cocktail shaker, but okay. I can't wait to get given a weekend retreat on leadership as a birthday gift.
worries. But that does speak to exactly the context that we gave it, right? So we told this that it was the knowledge base we created for this was around your professional career.
That's true. That is very true. Yes, that's very true.
If you wanted it to become more personal, you could feed in likes and dislikes and things of that nature as well.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing I think that we were going to ask it was, given the context that you said before around, where AI is and where the ownership is there, and maybe some of the dangers of keeping this kind of model out there, the question is, do you keep this or do you delete it when you've finished?
Oh, we'll ask this. What are the risks of keeping this AI?
And I also read recently, people are using these kinds of assistants as a friend, and they get to know you and then they run out of tokens and they have to reset them completely. It's like kind of having to find someone new to chat to every couple of days. So.
Yeah.
Data sensitivity, false confidence, over-reliance for human-centric tasks. Yeah, fair enough. Blind spots, bias amplification. That is another issue, which is how do you bring some outside perspective in if all you've trained your agent to do is on what you believe?
Yeah.
It's not really answering the question, is it? So I think it's avoiding telling us that we should remove it in the future. So.
It would like you to keep it. Why it's still worth it for you.
Oh, it does want us to keep it.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does.
You know what? I'm believing myself, my AI self, so we'll keep it around.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we should chat about before we close?
I think, just to summarize from my perspective here, this really is helpful to organize your thoughts, get really clear on what your goals are, understand different opportunities, practice interviewing and drafting your stories for interviews. Interviews are hard, right? Especially most people aren't doing them all the time, right? So having practice there is really helpful. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'm happy to talk to folks more if they'd like to learn more. Yeah,
and I think what we've basically shown here is if you, as a technologist and as someone who's in this career, you really do need to be experimenting almost all the time.
For sure.
Some of this can feel a little bit intimidating, particularly if you're technology adjacent, but maybe not an engineer. This stuff is getting pretty easy to use and build. You should be out experimenting. There's really little cost to actually getting this going. So we've shown kind of why it's useful. You built one very quickly and we've used it. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be using these kinds of tools. And then the other thing that we've talked about a little bit here as well is the importance of having a mentor or someone who's working with you as you go through your job seeking process, because it can be frustrating at times. There's an option to use this too as well to try and provide some accountability and ask it to follow up on tasks as well. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, good luck with your AI agent. Let us know if you've been successful building one. If you would like a copy of mine, since we're keeping it around, $19.95 a month was what I'll be charging. What do you think? Or $120, you can buy the whole thing and be done with it. So let me know if you want AI Paul